remember to say I'm Emily King and
Why that leads for
what happened?
My hard drive still needs a warm up. You guys are talking, so I mean.
Hey everybody.
People can hear it.
Oh hey, whoa, okay. We didn't know we were live because there we go. Harrison's hard drive's warming up, and Harrison, I'm not sure what that. There we go. All right, well, we're just gonna start over. No, it's going. Okay. Emily King here with
Richie King
and 5 Boys in a Business, and we'd like to thank you for joining us for our 21st podcast. 20th.
That's more than that.
21st Harrison
It's
Branch.
like 26th.
25th. It's an anniversary podcast. I didn't realize that.
Anniversary.
You can catch us on all the podcast channels, including YouTube, Spotify, that cool
iTunes.
podcast channel.
Reallycoolpodcast.com.
And don't forget to check out the merch store, asvcmerch.com. So we're by ourselves today.
We are. This is an ode to Dan's Donuts, actually. Everybody out there, look up there. So
That's an ode to what? Dan's Donuts?
the white reflection. So.
Dan's Donuts in Kokomo,
Yes.
where Harrison and his friends always like to go in the middle of the night for donuts because that's how donuts are made.
Now, how does that work exactly? What time do they open? You have to be there at 1 a.m. And is it busy? Wow.
It's busy at 1 a.m.
Every time you've been?
Because
That is
Kokomo
insane.
is the place to go.
Wow.
So
It's not, but they have Dan's.
they have Dan's, so there's that.
Wow. That's interesting.
So, yeah. So we're here to just chat, talk about the shenanigans of the week and what we have to look forward to in February.
Yes. Yes. So we're kind of doing something, just a loose hang today. So
Yeah.
see what's going on.
So do you want to start us off with what's going on since it's now February?
February. I mean, for everybody out
We're
there,
out of
that
January.
It's that isn't from Indianapolis or Indiana. Weather's been ridiculously warm, unseasonably warm, and I will take every moment of it because every moment of that warm weather gets us to when it's actually supposed to be warm. So we'll take that.
Yep.
February is I don't know. What are your thoughts about February?
I like it because it's a short month.
It is a short month. It's leap year this year though, 29
It
days.
is, so it makes it one longer day.
Yeah.
Good for business.
Yes.
Bad
February
for
is
the
always,
home.
generally a thorn in our sides. If you get any kind of precipitation in the frozen variety, it generally is bad. We had one year. Remember that one year? It was already a short month, 28 days, and we're closed for like 3 days. I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know. I'm going to pay rent. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
So we made it. So there's that.
We always make it.
We do.
Okay, so this weekend we had some fun things.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I have to congratulate you on your 30-day cleanse
Oh, congratulate a collective
You.
congratulation.
because you've lost like 15 pounds thanks to Tina Hawk and Airbon.
Not quite, but real close.
Okay, that's-
2092 down to 215.1.
No, that
No.
doesn't make sense.
209.
Math genius alert.
209.1 to 195.1.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and it's you, yeah, so that's almost,
14, right at 14.
yeah, that's really impressive.
Yeah, not stopping. Keep
So-
it going.
We did our annual 30-day cleanse with Airbon
Mm-hmm.
products, which we like because they're shakes and they fill us up, and
Not a fan of the third week cleanse, though. Not a fan of that at all.
that's not bad. It tastes fine.
Tastes fine. It's the other side effects that'll get you. You complain too? Not just me complaining.
When you were upset that one time and you were like, I don't know.
No, I was sitting at the island and Mama goes, "Is that you?" I was like, "That's my gut." Good God.
Oh, God. No.
It was bad. Sheets are fluttering, all kinds
That's
of
what
nonsense.
it was. The something was fluttering and you were running, something about chasing you up the stairs or something.
Oh, I said jet propulsion. It'll clean you out all right.
Oh, God.
Not in the way you expect, that's for sure.
Anyway,
Not to be too crude, but I have to speak the truth. It is a wonderful product, a wonderful system.
Yes.
We have tried other shake products, and Arbonne is probably one of the first ones that I can say that I actually enjoy. I love their shakes. I love their stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I think that and actually I've told her that it actually does simplify, especially if you're busy.
Yeah.
You know, I can mix up a shake with what I want. I usually put fruit and almond butter and coconut milk. right?
Yep.
Or is it almond milk?
Almond milk.
Almond milk, and then those are the first, breakfast and lunch, and then you'll have things in between, and you have I try and stick with a.
Well, they
a
want you
keto
eliminating
kind of,
things out of your diet.
like sugar,
because-
basically, so no bread,
Right.
no things like brown rice. But it's really fantastic, and I must say that I feel like $1 million.
You look like $1 million.
Oh, thank you, dear. So do you.
So
do you.
It does make you. Carla Cloud and I were talking the other day, and I was like, she was asking me about the 30-day cleanse, and I was like, oh, I feel so much better when I'm on it. I don't understand why it's so hard to continue to do it, even though you feel better when you're on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so,
I do think though, with I think that the typical diet of most people is it's just like everybody else. I mean, you incorporate a lot of things that you grew up with, or that you're used to, and sometimes those things aren't. Especially as you age, I know that with myself. They're probably not the best things you could be consuming,
right?
And I think that's where, and I've done keto before and paleo and that kind of stuff, and those are probably when I'm eating clean like that is when I feel the best usually.
Right.
I mean, for sure, during the past 30 days, I was telling her maybe last night I was saying I'm just not that hungry at night. I mean, I'd eat,
Right.
but I can have a bowl of something like we grilled out some sirloin last night, kebabs. And with this little mix you mixed in with, that's all I had. It wasn't really, I'm fine.
Right.
I don't really want anything else, besides that, which is unusual for me because I think sometimes when you consume lots of breads, a lot of things like that, you're constantly left hungry. Right. I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
So
yeah, so that we have
what
that.
changes have you noticed during
We
your
have
cleanse?
that going for us, that you don't snore as much.
No, not me. For you.
I think that
No, but
that does affect me.
Although she is saying that, yeah, she is probably right that I'm not snoring as much.
You don't snore at all, practically.
That's
so when you have zero sugar consumption or alcohol consumption or bread consumption, there is zero snoring.
That's good. Well, I will continue with the zero snoring. I mean, with that.
So
that plan.
there's that.
So yeah, and I've been so impressed with it. I probably won't stop. I may go down to 1 shake a day. I was doing that before, so that's not a huge change.
Right.
But I will say it's awfully easy in the middle of the day. Just have
so
that.
much easier to know what you're going to have for lunch.
It's done. I don't have to think about it.
Right.
And then go. So, but we've been working out pretty regularly too.
Yes.
I mean, 3 days a week. I can't remember the last time I was to work out. Maybe a month ago. So, yeah. So hats off to Tatum and.
So yeah, we've
Tina
done that with the help of our friends.
So yeah, it's good.
So, and then let's see here. What else do we have going on this weekend? Oh, we went to the vision board. Harrison, show them the picture of the vision board. We went to the vision board workshop by my sister, who is a certified
coach,
life coach, and I think that's what it's officially called, right?
I think
Practice
so.
coach. No,
it's like
life
something
coach.
like I think it's CPC.
Yeah,
I think.
And that was really, really cool. Because
it's a great exercise. It's really neat.
Yeah, and there was a lot of affirmation about the fact that the way I think is correct. That's the way I should be thinking.
What's that?
That like your beliefs become no, back up the bus. Missy's gonna think I'm gonna totally
It's like
butcher
you're messing
this.
it up. Stop talking.
Basically, the entire thing of future thinking for one, or future planning, but then the other thing of basically like your thoughts become your beliefs.
Oh yeah.
And then your beliefs, your thoughts. Like it's like this thing. So like if you are thinking poorly about yourself, then that becomes your belief that's what you are. And so I'm a big believer in you are who you think you are. And I think that her concept of what are you laughing?
Okay, listen.
Okay, so first of all, let me back up. Look at the difference between our vision boards. My vision board's on the right, and look at all my cool stuff on my vision board. Richie's board is on the left.
Okay, the whole point of the vision board is to encapsulate your vision.
What does it say? Seek the peak.
Okay, listen. All we had to choose from were Outside, Backpacker, and something else. There were other magazines, but they weren't. I mean, and
no, but like we were picking out words that would remind us of what we were trying to accomplish with our vision. So,
And actually, I will say this. I told you this earlier. If I had to do it again, I probably would do I would do a much better job since I'm familiar with the process and what it's supposed to be about.
right.
I mean, I got it there, but I was kind of, I probably, again, if I could sit down and do it again, I probably would fill it in much more.
Right.
Because yours was more like a word salad, kind of all.
Word salad. That's exactly what it was.
Well, yeah.
No,
but-
it was a
no,
word salad.
No,
yeah.
but that's okay to look at those things to remind you. Go, oh yeah, whatever. I mean,
Well,
single
and I
words.
think that I have always thought that really you're the only one that limits yourself.
Oh sure.
So, that's the whole concept of, ideas don't come to you unless they're meant to come to you. Of course, we're very faith-based, so we think that God generates those ideas and gives them to you, and you weren't supposed to have them unless you were supposed to have them or act upon them. And so then I think that that's how I've navigated my entire life, which now you're using. And so it's funny because you'll verbalize it and say things, different
Well,
things.
I've always thought that thoughts pop into your mind for a reason, and you should pay attention to it. And that's why, I think we've talked about in the podcast before. Maybe you said, I can't remember, but it was like, I've always thought you shouldn't minimize what you're feeling or
Right.
what the thoughts are, because they are what they are, and maybe
Right.
it's something you need to address. Maybe it's not legit. Who knows? But it's something you got, that's in your brain. You have to work through whatever
Right.
it is. So yeah, I think I certainly, as I get older, and I think that I look at the things that, for sure, that happen in my life or whatever. I just think that sometimes life can't be quite that random.
Right.
Things have to have a purpose somewhere, some way.
Well, and I think the other big thing, the big takeaway, which, Missy didn't necessarily verbalize it this way, but I think that, and she said, basically, to paraphrase, you have to throw the stuff out there. You got to throw out there what it is that you're wanting to have happen,
Right.
because you do have powers that are working towards accomplishing those things. So but if you keep it and you internalize it and you don't throw it out there, I don't think that you have those, just like in that book, The Art of War, The War of Art, the whatever the heck
War
the
of
name
Art.
of that book is.
The Muse.
The Muse, right. There's things working for you, but if you don't throw it out there, those things aren't going to work
It's funny you
for
mentioned that, because I remember years ago, right before I met you at the bar that night, we were discussing with this guy, Richard, Italian Beauties, and I turned around and you were there. Shocking. I was like, thank you, universe.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's not like that. But
Kinda like that.
I think that those, and because we are faith-based and, we're Catholic, then of course we believe in angels and
Sure.
saints and things like that. And so those are our muse. Those are the things that are working for us to get things done, to get us where we need to be. But if you don't put those things out into the universe, then nobody knows that they're there. So that's why I think that it's important that you write them down.
Sure.
So we'll write them on a wall, or we'll write them on the chalkboard, or we write whatever, because what you see happen over time is that those things actually do happen. They're there for the taking. You just have to put them out there.
It's funny because I think my own personal experience, my background, I just think that anything is possible. The possibilities are endless. If you want to do it, you just have to make up the hardest part, I think, about an accomplishment is making up your mind to achieve the accomplishment.
Well, really, it's about getting out of your own way, right?
Well, no, but making up your mind. I remember there's a line I've always remembered from Apollo 13, when Tom Hanks was talking with another person about the moon landing. He said, it's not that big a deal. We just made up our mind to go do it. And I thought that carries over to so much. You just have to make up your mind you want to go do something. And you
Right.
just go, and then you work backwards and go, I want to get here. How do I get there? X, Y, Z.
Right.
So I just think everybody is capable of so much more than probably they realize.
Right.
And I think if they make up their mind to accomplish something, their only limiting factor most times is themselves.
Well, and I think then the vision board becomes a path. So then
Right.
you have somewhere to refocus yourself. So you can kind of shut down all the noise and be like, all right, yeah, this is my primary focus,
Right.
And the whole idea of future planning or future talking, so you assume these are things that are going to happen,
Right.
which is a big thing that I really believe in. So for instance, back in the day when we were we need a person to do social media all day long,
Right.
that was something that, we talked about as a staff, and we said, this is what we want to have happen. This is what we
Right.
want to see happen. This is what's going to happen as we move forward. We're going to end up having somebody who can do this. And then you end up with the ability to be able to do it financially, the space, the whatever. Or, I remember, One of the ideas was I want to have pharmacy located in its own in its own place.
Right.
So we need to put that out there because that's something that we want to see happen because this and this and this and this will happen. And lo and behold, again,
Right.
you're granted the space. You have a person who's the skill set that's able to run pharmacy. I mean, all of those things happen. And I'm just talking specifically about the business, but those things all happen because they were thrown out there.
Right.
As things that you want to try and accomplish or a place you want to get to or whatever.
Right.
So there's all
Absolutely.
that.
No, and I think too sometimes it's funny. She talked to us about the unconscious mind and how that it's not logical, but how that can influence sometimes. And I read a book recently about by a guy named John Elder. I can't think of the name of it right now. He talks a little bit about that too, about the unconscious mind and how sometimes your unconscious mind is irrational. And to his point, he's saying you need to go work through these things
Right.
to retrain your unconscious mind to not, his was more in the context of like, past traumas or whatever, but how that does play a role, and maybe you don't understand it at the time because you're thinking with your logical mind, but your unconscious mind is influencing that.
Right.
It's fascinating and very complicated, but just an incredible concept.
But kudos to my sister. She did a great job leading the
Yeah,
group.
I was very, very
And
impressed.
if you need that type of activity, it was great. I'm like, I thought of so many applications. I'm like, oh my God, every sports team needs this. Every couple needs it. It was great. So let us know if you are ever interested. We'll put you in contact with her.
We'll put a link down to her stuff.
Yeah, we'll put a link to Missy's stuff,
Yeah, her
Harrison, at the
website.
bottom of the podcast. Okay, in the Facebook. Is that a strong nod? Yes.
No,
Okay.
I agree with what you said. I think that so many people, everybody, myself included, you operate under a certain set of norms, and sometimes you need to step outside of those norms to see what's truly possible.
Right.
Say, let's just say, I don't know, if someone says, well, I want to retire at 55, you go, I could never do that, or whatever, and you go, well, there's always a path. If
Right.
it changes, maybe you cut your burn rate down, maybe whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's always a way. It's interesting. A good friend of mine from college, Jeff Smith, he and his wife, Dawn, and their 3 kids, they, about a little over a year ago, they sold everything they owned and bought an RV and have been going around the country RVing ever since full time. And I thought, what a wonderful adventure.
Right.
That you think,
I could never do this.
never
I'd
do
have to-
this.
How
I
do
have
I
a
get rid of
job,
my
I've got
house?
this,
I have a
I've got-
job.
And
Yeah.
I thought, what a wonderful story, an inspirational story to say that anything's possible. And the memories and, the experiences they've had, I'm sure will go unmatched
Oh,
throughout
heavens,
the rest
yeah.
of their lives. They did that, and they threw caution to the wind and just did it. But again, probably started with just making up their mind, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
What
Not
we have to
thinking
do.
about the obstacles.
Yeah, and it was really, I remember thinking, because they had on Facebook, they had a whole house sale basically.
Yeah.
And they literally sold everything because they didn't have
There's no
space in the
room
RV.
No.
So everything, childhood, and I think, how much stuff that, for sure, for 5 kids, how much stuff you accumulate. You don't really need that. And when you condense it all down, and we follow them. I'm friends with them on Facebook, and they've got a page, I think, called the Sojourning Smiths. And it's just fascinating to watch that and think, wow, this is just amazing what you guys have been able to do.
Right.
So it's cool.
Yeah,
So,
very
I mean, you're like you say, you're only limited. You're truly only limited by your own limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So what's possible?
So we did that. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
Super Bowl, of course, was very cool.
It's a good game.
What, my favorite commercial. Did you have a favorite commercial?
The ones I saw last night, I was like, I guess.
Harrison, are you able to pull up commercials from yesterday's Super Bowl?
Yeah, probably.
Pull up the
But I didn't see
Take
them all.
5, the Reese's Take 5.
That was funny.
That was one of my favorite ones. I just thought it was so clever because I just thought it was clever. There was nobody famous in it. It was just
It was a play on words.
It was a play on words.
Yeah,
it was
good.
very, very, very. very
I
clever.
can't remember. See, this is what happens in our house, though, when a game like that comes on. You don't really sit down and watch it. You watch 5 minutes here. You watch 10 minutes there.
True.
I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
like,
This is it. This is it. This is
I have
it.
to go put.
Can you hear it? Can they hear it? Oh, they can't hear it.
It was
Okay.
all the play on words, like, "Are you stupid?"
Yeah. Is your
Is
head
your head in
buried
the
in the
sand?
sand? Are you from another planet?
Oh no! And that's the best one. You're like, what?
Did you think that was funny? I loved that commercial. I thought that was fabulous. I thought they did a great job with that.
You know, it's funny. You'll watch these commercials sometimes, and you think, because I'm I love marketing and the whole function and everything. You watch that and you go, how on earth did they come up with that?
those ideas. It's
how do
just
they
probably
do
somebody
that?
sitting around going,
My favorite one was the Rick and Morty one. Did you guys see that one?
"Show me that one." I think
Rick
I
and
saw
Morty guy,
that
so
one,
I
but I
don't
don't know if I realized that it was Rick and Morty. And then I thought the one with the backward parking car was pretty funny
That
too.
was funny too.
With what's his name, Harrison?
They were all from Boston.
Oh, the Pringles one. This Pringles one. Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, the backward parking car was pretty cool.
And they, something else was an Audi commercial. Oh yeah, of the electric car. You remember?
one?
I remember I said, "Isn't that the girl from Game of Thrones?" And she was singing a song.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And
Yeah,
I
because I thought it was cool. She was singing "Let It Go." It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite songs.
And I said, I think it's BMW. Remember report? I think it was BMW. It said that they're gonna, like in 10 years, they won't have. I mean, the bulk of their production is gonna be electric cars. I was like, isn't that fascinating that they're going towards that model?
Right.
Instead of, what you would think they would just continue on with what they've had in the past. I don't know. It's interesting because it'll be interesting. I know that companies will make pronouncements like that and they'll say, "Oh, we're going to do this," and whether they're actually, because at the end of the day, it's dictated by the market.
Right.
What does the market want? And I know personally, I look at Teslas and I think they're awesome and they're really cool. But at the same time, I think I can't drive to Tennessee in a car like that.
Right.
I've got to sit and charge it for an hour.
Yeah,
If I can find a charger,
it's not feasible necessarily.
yeah. So from a practicality standpoint, I mean, is that really going to be what's prevalent, or is it more just kind of like we're saying this is a public pronouncement, whatever for whatever reason, but we're going to stick with what the market dictates.
Right.
Personally,
How
I
much
think
do you
it's so
think
long as
Pringles
gas
pay
stays
these
where it's
people?
at. I mean, I don't think you'll have a huge change.
Can we hear it? I can't. I want to hear it. Make it play. And then let's see here. What was another great one? So then that was that one.
I don't know. I thought the game was great.
The game was fantastic. It was a very good game. Very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, Oh, you got to turn it up. Yeah.
I can't see it though.
Yeah.
Can you make it larger?
Make it larger. I was happy for, yeah.
Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles pay these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to take your flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack. Get out.
What's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen and I didn't listen. Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors.
The heck?
That's hilarious. That's so your guys' generation,
right?
Harrison. That is so funny.
No, I was amazed last night because I watched the game and I'd watched the playoffs and everything, and then I knew Mahomes was good, and you watch, but then you watch that, and at the end of the game he goes, he's 24, and you go, you're 24 years old and you just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was
that's
the youngest
insane.
player to ever be MVP in a season and a Super Bowl.
I just think what I was doing at 24, I was definitely not in a Super Bowl. Definitely not.
Harrison, would you consider yourself mature enough to be in a Super Bowl? I could see you in a Super Bowl. Mature enough to be in a Super Bowl.
Although, and I say that, and I say, well, I can't imagine somebody that young. But then I look back and I go, everything's a progression.
Right, exactly.
You're
They feel like they can
You're
be
an
in the Super
insane athlete.
Right.
You can come in. You're playing at that level already and have been
Right.
for the past 3 years. Of course, I mean you're at the peak of your career.
Right.
And it's fascinating because I don't know. I think about, like, for instance, Peyton Manning. I'm a big Peyton Manning fan, and for obvious reasons. And I think back to, like, when he first started at UT. When he started, became a starter for the Volunteers, and just that progression. You go, you're really good. I mean, his work ethic was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He just, was good, and he played at the NFL level for a long time, and I'm sure that's just what it is. It's just like anybody looking at like a
Right.
CEO. It's like it's just this natural progression. You get up to here. It's a little bit, the expectations are a little higher. I mean, but it's just a continuation of what you've done in the past.
Right.
It's not like somebody took you out of the mailroom and made you CEO.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
So anyway,
No.
it's interesting.
And then Harrison, did you see the commercial where they put the guy who did the dance things with the parachute pants? Why can't I think of his name?
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer, where they put his head on the baby. That was really funny too, and it reminded me of, remember back they had a commercial where they put the head of somebody on a baby,
Really?
and I can't remember.
Like dancing babies or something.
Then the Chris Rock. What was the Chris Rock one?
Oh,
that
they
was
were
the,
saying,
that was
"Oh,
the
Rock,"
Rocky.
and they were talking about the Facebook groups.
Yeah, the Facebook groups.
And he says, what'd you expect? And because it was Philadelphia, it was a Rocky Club or whatever.
Right,
And then Sylvester Stallone comes out. I was like, ugh, what happened to his face? She goes, he's not going to age well no matter what.
Oh gosh, no! I thought they were all pretty good. The one thing I did miss was like usually Budweiser always has a great like.
Didn't have one?
No, I mean it was. I just thought they were.
They had the one Bud Light
They
one
had the
with Post
seltzer.
Malone.
Post Malone one was pretty good. Did you see the Post Malone one,
It was
Harrison?
all right.
Where he was like inside of his body, they were like torturing him back and forth and back and forth. Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. He's like, "Oh no, I can't hold the baby." That where he is. Oh gosh, yeah. So anyway,
MC Hammer has made a fortune off of that caricature of himself.
yes, that single one song even.
I know.
But you know what? Hey, make it.
That's all you need sometimes. That
That's
one
all
jingle.
you need. That's all you need.
I was thinking about that guy that sings. I forget his name, Jose something or other, but it's Feliz Navidad.
Oh, Feliz Navidad.
He
yeah.
never had another song again.
Probably not.
You don't need one.
He probably had a lot of songs, but none of them mattered.
I know, right?
He
After
didn't
that
like
one, that gets so much rotation during the holidays. So yeah, that was it was a great game. I was glad to see Kansas City win. Was not expecting. I thought for sure first half and probably first half, a little bit of third quarter that San Francisco had it. They were by 10, and I thought there's no way. And boy, they came back and killed it.
I thought that once Mahomes threw an interception twice back to back, I was like, oof. So
But you know what? Their motto has been every second half
Yeah.
they come back. Every
Well, when he started to air it out, he
it
said
was like
that-
Peyton Manning. Like you could you're like, it doesn't matter. He's gonna win anyway. They're down by 21. It doesn't matter. Like he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like in the second half, they'll just win.
Harrison clearly doesn't remember this, but I remember when we lived at Edinburgh. I'll never forget this night, and I want to say it was 2002 or something like that. And I stayed up to watch Monday Night Football, and you had gone up to bed.
Yeah, I went up to bed.
You went to and we used to have this TV, an old tube TV that we bought. It wasn't old; it was brand new, but it had headphones on it that came with headphones. And I was downstairs, and it was like 3 minutes left. I was like, oh, geez. And then they threw a touchdown, and then they did an onside kick, and they scored like 3 times in 4 minutes. Something insane. And I remember you came downstairs because I was jumping out going, no way. And you're
That was Tampa
you
Bay
have
game.
to be quiet. And it was Tampa Bay that just won the Super Bowl the previous year.
Mm-hmm. That's Tony Dungy. I think they beat Tony Dungy's team, right? Isn't that?
No, it was
What's his name?
God, what's his
guy?
name? John
Is it the-
Gruden.
yeah,
John
at the
Gruden. You was at Oakland.
Raiders. Yeah.
And then left Oakland to go to the Bucks. And I think that first year he was at the Bucks is when, because didn't Dungy get fired from the Buccaneers and John Gruden took over and
I
Dungy
feel
came
like
there.
that's true. Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
And then that was one of his first years, if not the first year with the Colts.
Yeah,
and
that
I'll
was
never
one of the best games ever.
ever. And I remember watching it going real time, going, "You've got to be kidding!" And yeah, it was just insane that they won that. And I think actually, to be fair, I think the Buccaneers ended up not being great that year.
Mm-hmm.
But to beat the reigning Super Bowl champs in the manner in which the Colts did was just unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, that was. I was sad to see those headphones break, which they ultimately did. So, darn it.
Oh gosh.
We tried to replace them and never could. Remember
Never
we,
could.
We tried to get some things to work and they never did quite work. And so yeah, we had a lot of fun with the kids this weekend. What happened this weekend? It was
Well, Calvin finished up his trial of jiu-jitsu.
and he lost his wart. His wart finally came off.
Okay, we don't need to talk about it.
Well, it happened.
Although I will say
He was so excited.
Shout out to what's the name of the brand?
Dr. Scholl's.
Dr. Scholl's freezer. It worked like a charm, man.
I heard a big hoot and holler in the basement. I was like, "What happened? What happened?" And he ran upstairs. He goes, "No." So I had to take a picture of it. And I was like, you don't want to take a picture of that, really?
It
All right.
was
Okay.
yes. He sent me pictures to my phone.
So what did you say before?
Jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, he is at House of
is-
Martial Arts in Clay Terrace.
So
having a great time.
Harrison, pull up the picture of him pre-jitsu class. I get this text when I'm at work.
No, we're sitting there. I get
And
him.
this
No,
is
so
it.
this is me sitting right there,
Calvin.
and Calvin sits there and he goes. He said, "I said no." He said, "Do I go out on the mat?" I said, "No, just wait a minute." So he sits there and he goes, "Okay, this is totally impromptu." He goes, "Okay, I have to meditate." And he goes, ooh. I was like, "I have to take a picture of this."
He is hilarious. That child is something else.
Oh, yeah, he wore this past week. You got to dress up to be who you want to be when you grow up. So he brings this, he wears this. And I told him, I was like, this is your uniform, so you be careful. Don't, if you go outside, don't. And he walks out and he goes, Dad, I'm so sorry. I fell. And it's, his knees were a little bit of mud. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at him later and he goes, I said, how do you have a hole in your pants? He goes, I accidentally cut them with the scissors. Like, accidentally, huh? Or do they jump out of your hands and take a bite out of your pants? Give me a break.
Oh my gosh. Kudos to, or shout out to the House of Martial Arts, right?
Yeah.
Clay Terrace is where he went. They have a great little program. You can try it. They've been really great with when we've been there watching the kids. And lo and behold, one of his classmates, Sebastian, goes all the way from Noblesville there.
Yeah.
And he's actually a member. So Calvin's going to continue and keep doing it. And
Yeah.
he really likes it. He showed me all of his. So explain to people the difference between like jiu-jitsu. Okay, the way you explain it to me, like a crude difference between jiu-jitsu and...
this is just, jiu-jitsu is more grappling, groundwork.
Right.
I mean, you're grappling, you're jockeying for position, someone has
It's like
control.
wrestling.
Yeah, basically it's wrestling, but it's not wrestling, but it's grappling. It's like I say, it's groundwork.
Right.
Unlike judo or something where it's throwing, which is sort of grappling, but anyway. Whereas Kimpo or Taekwondo, some of the other traditional ones are striking. So it's kicks, punches, that kind of thing. Whereas this is you're on the ground and like I say, you're either on top or bottom, or you're trying to jockey for control. And what they'll do is, in those, not at this level, but I mean, if you're an adult or whatever, if you're a white belt, whatever, you'll spar with people, and then there's certain moves, and like say they get you in a compromising position, you'll tap, and that's how you practice, and you'll begin to learn, where you're vulnerable, where you need to, in terms of skill level,
right?
And it's very technical, and I remember Joe Rogan was talking on his podcast once, and someone said, he's like, I don't understand this fascination with jiu-jitsu. What does that mean you can do? And he goes, well, if I wanted to, I could kill you. And I thought, because there's chokes. And everything. He goes, if I don't let go of the choke, you're not gonna make it. He goes, whereas striking, you'd have to strike somebody. It's so from a submission standpoint,
right?
It's a really useful thing, and self-defense. I think. I mean, I think one of the great things those programs do is not just that one, but others too. It gives kids confidence because you do know that if something did happen, you have that skill set
and focus. Yeah,
and you're not really as scared anymore. And I mean, everybody's seen the videos of bullies and all that stuff, and the kids that have training really aren't. I mean, their tolerances, because they know what they can do.
Right.
It's not like I don't really have to prove to you what I can do. I know I can do what I need to do.
Right.
Slow to anger, like you say, control, discipline, that kind of thing. Those are the people you got to watch out for. The quiet ones.
And it gives him protection against his 4 brothers.
Yeah, and he actually showed a move to Emily.
Oh my gosh, he paid it. I mean, he had it down. He showed me the entire thing step by step.
That's cool.
And I was like, wow, you really were paying attention. That he's like, put your hands here, then do this, and then I do this, then I do this, and I do this. And I was like, dang, that was really cool. So I think he does like it because you are moving.
Yeah.
Like, when Johnny did Taekwondo, it was
you stand
in line.
See, and I wonder, and it's someone who is much more learned than I am. I just wonder when you take those kids sometimes and they're 10 years old and they're black belts. I'm like, yeah, but they stop. Does that mean, how do they carry forward that skill set?
Right.
Are they old enough really to be able to capture? And I'm sure it does have value.
Right. I'm sure. Yeah.
But it's interesting. Whereas I think
that's why we picked that.
Yeah.
Because it was more like you were doing something, but yet it wasn't quite as cardio as like wrestling, like CYO wrestling, because that was the other thing we thought about doing. But that's even more like
the kids did wrestling for one season. I liked it. I just got the sense that and this is just with anything, I'm sure. I mean, wrestling is one of those sports where you can't stop doing if you want to be really good. You kind of have to do it all the time. And if you're not going to do it all the time, then you're just kind of messing around.
Right.
And I mean, I think it's such a highly technical thing. I think that's where the kids, Holden did well because he was just so strong, but they just didn't have the skill set. You can't learn it in 6 weeks.
Right. What to do.
You know, so, but yeah. So, yeah.
So we did that. So that was fun.
Yeah. So he's liking that. And, he's doing great, and it's a great, relatively short class period. 45 minutes or so. All the kids are about his age, maybe a little bit older, and it's nice too.
Small class.
Yeah, they'll take like the white belts over into another area sometimes, or separate them, and so they'll learn that skill set that other the higher belts are practicing on, but they don't quite have yet.
Get it?
So they're bored or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, we've been really impressed with the people there so far. So yeah, it's limited 4 classes, but it's good. Yeah, that's one other thing. Yeah, Calvin did. What else did Calvin do this weekend? It was funny.
Calvin wanted to talk to the phone and ask it to speak different languages for some reason, but I don't remember how that started because he was asking Siri to say hello or something or goodbye in different languages.
Yeah.
And so, what did he ask? Like,
He
I
said,
can't remember.
"Mommy, how do you say this in French?"
In French, and I started laughing so hard because it sounded.
Same way you say it in English, buddy.
It sounded like when you would start speaking East Tennessean, right, Harrison?
Oh, good Lord.
When he sounds like a certain way.
What are you
And
talking about? How do I sound?
I was
I'm
like,
just curious.
oh my God, you sounded just like your father. When he's like, Siri, how do you say goodbye in French? And I was like, oh my God, it's Richie. It was hilarious. And the Siri goes, bonjour. So it understood
What are you saying?
what he was saying. That he was asking about French or whatever. But it
Do you
was,
remember
or
me-
hello, whatever bonjour. Is it hello? Is hello bonjour? I don't even know because I'm not a French
I
person.
thought bonjour was. I
Goodbye.
don't know. I
Hello,
took French.
bonjour. It's
Sorry,
probably
Miss Hina.
hello.
I have no idea what.
Okay,
that was.
well,
What-
anyway, it was
what-
hilarious because it sounded just like you when you start talking East Tennessee.
So when I first met you, do you recall me having a very thick accent?
No, it's just like when you say it Thursday or however he says it, Harrison. How does he say it? He says
Thursday.
Thursday. Thursday. Thursday.
There was. It's so funny because I listen to Bert Kreischer. He's a comedian. His wife's from South Georgia, and he said he asked Leanne one time. He says, "Hey, do this read in your native tongue or whatever." And she goes, "All right, come here." And she's like, "Coming to the Tabernacle next Sunday, 7:00. Bring your
is.
own bottle of booze."
Like you were talking to Tiffany this morning and she was on speakerphone and I'm like, this is the best. I could sit and listen to you two for hours talk. I mean, I think Harrison probably feels the same way when you guys are going back and forth. And what did she say, Harrison, where we were laughing so hard? She's
Am I-
like,
am I
just
honest?
forget about it. Like when she was talking
My mom's not gonna listen to this anyway. But she was talking about a washer and dryer.
She's like, just-
you know what? If you hadn't gotten a whole haircut,
Okay,
just don't worry
just
about
don't
it.
worry
Forget about the whole
Forget
thing.
about the whole thing. And I was busting. I mean, it's just so cute. I just love listening to it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
it's great. You know, it's funny because I forget. It's interesting you mentioned that because when we went back to my high school reunion last August, I was talking to people. And I don't recall, and it's because I've been away so long.
Right.
I don't recall them speaking that way because I mean
Right.
everybody talked like that.
Right.
You know, because you're in that area. I get it. It's nothing, nothing bad or good or anything. It's just you forget how people converse, and it's interesting. I'm sure that living up here, I've lost a lot of it. It's still, I'll hear myself say things occasionally, and it does.
Wash.
Well, it's funny because my mom has always impressed upon us to speak correct English and all this stuff, and don't say it that way. Don't say ain't. It's not a real word. Rah, rah, rah. Whatever. And I can listen. What? It's true. Use good English. It's like, Mother, that's not good English. Just so you know. But she would, and it's funny because I listen to her talk now, and I was like, you sound like everybody else.
When she was talking about the gold silverware, Harrison.
Oh my
she was
God,
like-
Mom said,
I'm gonna save this gold silverware for
No.
Richie.
Okay, so
And
let's. Okay,
Tiffany
I
goes,
know.
don't.
And
And she goes, don't you think he'd like it? And she goes, no, he ain't going. And she's not. She didn't say ain't. She goes, no, he doesn't want it or whatever. I remember
No,
she
okay.
said.
My mother has finally sold my late grandfather's home, and they're having an estate sale. So they're trying to set stuff aside for if they thought the
Right.
kids would like it.
Right.
And Tiffany said that my mom called her and said, "You think Richie would like this gold-plated flatware?" And she says, "No."
No. And then she goes, she asked
You
again.
sure?
She goes,
It's
you
nice
don't think
stuff?
he
She goes,
will-"
"No.
Nope.
He's not
Nope,
gonna
he
want
will
it."
not want it. Nope.
It's from QVC.
You don't think
Doesn't
he'll? You
matter.
don't think he'll want it? Nope, I do not. No, I don't.
But it's
think he'll want
gold-plated.
it.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It was just hilarious.
So hats off to my mom for thinking of us. But yeah, the gold-plated silverware, I'm sure it can find
It was cute.
a home that could be much better used.
Used.
You know, the house of gold-plated flatware, I'm sure.
Well,
So
we won't burn up anybody else's time with any more of our antics. Can't
that's
talk
great.
today.
I love it.
So we will close.
I gotta say this. My sister was talking about the grandfather clock. Did you hear that?
The grandfather clock?
She said, "I know, Mom wants you to have this grandfather
grandfather
clock of Pawpaw's." She's like, "But let me tell you, one, it's hard to move. Two, the chimes go off all day long." She goes, "And where are you going to find a clockmaker these days?" She goes, "So just don't bring it up. Let it go on the sale." I was like, "All right."
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But it's funny because that is a very generational. I mean, if you had a grandfather clock That was like a
Oh
sign
yeah,
that
because
you
mom and dad have one. My parents have one. Their parents had one.
had to wind it.
Yeah.
Or the same thing. I'll never forget my grandmother got her, my mother's mother got her first Cadillac. And she said, all the girls at the beauty shop were so jealous of my white Cadillac. I was like, I guess. What? But that's I mean, you'd made it.
Yep.
If you had a Cadillac. And when you got a Cadillac, that was it. So,
Or a clock.
Or a grandfather clock.
There you go.
That chimes all day.
Always, yeah, that chimes all day.
So yeah. I sorry, whoever gets the grandfather clock, good luck.
All right.
Google's
well,
your friend.
we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there.
Hey, don't forget to check out asvcmerch.com. We got some cool stocking hats if it ever turns into winter, which is not, which thankfully it won't, because now that it's February, it's soon
Well,
March.
we're gonna get killed in March. This is like,
And
it's
once it's March, basically it's April. So once you're into April, so it's May. So we're already there. We're
Yeah.
good.
Good.
So everybody enjoy what is now I'm calling spring. So there you go. Just like that, you're into spring. Don't you like my logic?
Right.
All right. So yeah, don't forget to check out asvc.merch.com, merch.com.
Wow. Okay. ASVCmerch.com.
Check out the rest of the podcast episodes. We will be having special guest Sandy Ginn next week.
Yes.
Right, Harrison Branch. And I think it's next week. I'm pretty sure it's next week, Harrison Branch. And then we have Soulcore and MVP on after that. So
Really? Is it that?
Soulcore is in the next week after that.
That's
It's
the
something like
24th?
that.
Yeah.
It's around that.
No, you're right.
I don't know.
You're right.
It's
You're right.
during that. It's
That's
like
more than 2
the
weeks.
next couple
Anyway.
of Mondays.
Anyway, lots
we
of
got
cool
some
guests
cool
coming.
guests coming.
Yeah.
If you want to be on the podcast,
Of course.
reach out to us.
We love to talk to new people and see what they're about and, just chat.
Unless, no, I'm just going to say, unless.
You can't stop the joke.
No.
Unless what?
No.
What?
It's all good.
What
Okay, so we will see you next
Cliffhanger
Monday.
alert.
I'm Emily King, and
I am Richie King. This is 5 Boys in the Business. We're out.